On this episode, I'm gonna make an offer you can't refuse. I'm gonna make a New York style cheesecake with a graham cracker crust. I hope you love it. I do. Let's go ahead and get started. To get started, we wanna go ahead and add 15 graham crackers. We're gonna put them in the food processor, mix them up with the coarse salt and the lemon zest and the brown sugar. You want it finely grated, but not too finely where it looks artificial. So go ahead and we're adding 1 1/4 cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of lemon zest, and we're gonna melt our butter, 6 tablespoons of butter. So I added 15 graham crackers, 3 by 5s. I added 1/3 cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of lemon zest, and we're going to add a 1 1/4 teaspoon of coarse salt. So we're going to mix this up to a good kind of wet sand mixture. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Now we're going to add the 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter that I went ahead and melted. And now we'll mix this up to the wet sand mixture. That is the consistency that we want. So we're going to go ahead and put this on a greased pan, and we're going to coat the bottom of it. I went ahead and greased the pan already. And while you're doing this, go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we're just going to place this on the bottom here. And you're just going to pack it down tightly. And if you made too much, or you think you might have made too much, you could empty some in there. But you're going to have it come up to the sides about halfway across the pan. We're going to go ahead and place this in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes, or until it's kind of crisp and golden. Alright, so while we wait for that to bake, let's go ahead and get the filling started. In this recipe, we're going to use 5 8-ounce cream cheese. I'm just using Philadelphia cream cheese, but if you have something else, feel free to use it. It's about 2.5 pounds worth of cream cheese, so it's a lot of cream cheese. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our stand mixer ready. And we're going to add 5 8-ounce packages of Philadelphia cream cheese. And then we're going to mix this on medium until it's smooth and creamy. Now, if you do not have a stand mixer, a hand mixer will work. It's just going to take a little more effort. So after about 5 minutes or so of beating this on medium, it should be rather smooth. What we want to go ahead and do now is go ahead and add our granulated sugar in, but just a little bit at a time so it has a chance to mix in there. So we have 1 1/3 cups of granulated sugar that you're going to add in. And you're going to beat this until it's light and fluffy. It's going to take about 3 minutes or so until it gets to that point. And then we're going to go ahead and add the lemon juice. So we're going to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. We're going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of coarse salt. Now to add these eggs, we want to be super careful. I have 5 whole eggs and then just 2 additional egg yolks. So we're going to add these in one at a time to give the mixture a chance to adapt to the eggs. So now this part will get a little messy, so I do recommend you go ahead and add on the cover here. Some people might say it's a cheat, but I'd rather have that than cleaning up my kitchen later. Alright, we're going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And now we're going to add 8 ounces of sour cream. Now all this has been at room temperature, so ensure you have it all at room temperature. So what you want to do is go ahead and get the remaining batter off the mixer. That way you don't have any bits of butter or sour cream or cream cheese in there. And we're gonna give this just a bit more, get off the sides. And what you really wanna do is make sure there's no lumps in this. If there's lumps, it can ruin the cheesecake. All right, so I think our crust is finally done. So let's go ahead and take it out of the oven, see how it looks, and we can judge if it needs a little more time. All right, so our crust is done. You can tell it's very crispy on the sides. That's how we would like it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. The edges are nice and crispy, just like we want them. We're gonna let this sit and cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then we'll go ahead and grease the upper side and put the parchment paper on there. All right, so we went ahead and let it cool for about 15 minutes. It's cool to the touch. We're gonna go ahead and grease the sides, the remaining upper half of the tin. Then we're gonna go ahead and add the parchment paper. Then go ahead and grease this side of the parchment paper. A lot of butter is being used. So now, we're gonna go ahead and start the pour. With the New York style cheesecake, we put it in a boiling hot water bath. So what I'm gonna do is put 3 pieces of foil underneath it that's cross pattern. And then we're gonna fold it up tightly so that way no water can seep into it. Also, in the meantime, go ahead and reduce the heat to your oven to 320 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, with the New York style cheesecake, we have to put it in a hot water bath. So we're gonna head and set this in the roasting pan for the hot water bath. We'll go ahead and smooth out the air bubbles at the top. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and place this into the oven at 325 degrees for about an hour, 45 minutes to 2 hours. Just enough for the front to be jiggly. So it's been about an hour and 50 minutes. And what we're looking at is that this is very golden brown. The center of it's jiggly. I don't know if the camera's actually getting that, but it's very jiggly in the middle. So we're gonna remove it from the water bath, and then we're gonna let this cool for about 20 minutes inside the pan. And then we're going to take a paring knife along the edges. So it's been about 20 minutes. I went ahead and let it cool down a little bit. And I already took the liberty of removing the foil. You guys didn't really need to see me do that. So this is what it should look like. And what we're gonna do is go ahead and pop the springform pan open. We'll remove that. So we'll remove the parchment paper and just let it cool the rest of the way. So go ahead and let this cool for about 8 hours and then put it in the refrigerator for another 8 hours. I definitely recommend that. It lets it set a little bit and kind of condenses. And once that happens, enjoy it. You know, leave your feedback below and subscribe to my channel because I'm always looking for more inspiration. This is the Bored Baker and you enjoy your desserts.